this is where the big players, where the market makers are looking for entries. And this is what happened exactly with Kaspa. When most of the people are looking at support levels like 0.1 support, 0.07 support, the people or the big players or the people who drive these markets knew exactly that they were looking for 0.05. Hello everyone, welcome again to the channel. Thank you so much for watching my videos, and thank you so much for supporting this channel. Now welcome in today's episode. Investors are pouring money into US stocks again. US equity funds have attracted 1.5 billion in net inflows over the last month, the most since February. Now we know after Trump took office, after he started, putting tariffs, everybody was scared, and all of the big institutions, all of the big money was pulling money away from the markets because everyone was scared. But what you can see is that foreign investors are starting to pour money into the US stocks again. So this means that risk appetite is now coming again. So he proceeded to say that this comes after a net outflow of minus 5 billion at the beginning of April, the most in at least 5 years. According to the Fed data, foreigners own 18.5 trillion in US equities, reflecting an approximately 20% of the total US equity market. Keep watching the flow of data. So you can see when Trump took office, people started pulling out money from the markets, and you can see that now there is a big bounce. This happens after the United States and China have made a deal, and we can see what is happening. Like, more countries are trying to make a deal to stop these trade wars. The tariff percentage was reduced from 145 to 30% when it comes to China, and more countries are making trade deals. So the uncertainty that was brought out by trade wars, I think that is coming to an end, and the markets can sense this. Are now starting to pour money again into the markets. So this is a very good news. But at the same time, you will notice one thing. We have a tweet from Cointelegraph saying Google searches for Bitcoin hit 6 months low, signaling declining retail interest despite price gains. So as I said in the previous videos, that the problem about retail is they get exhausted when they are hit with a lot of negative news. So there was a lot of tariff talks, there was a lot of uncertainty, and people lost hope and they gave up. So as you can see now, the Google searches for Bitcoin hit 6 month lows, signaling decline in retail interest despite price gains. Now when everything is coming into life, when everything is now cool, that's when they give up. That's what happens with most of the investors and with most of the people in the crypto markets. Still interested in crypto, and if you're still interested in Kaspa, there is a lot of good things coming to your way. Now we also have this tweet saying that you find a hidden treasure, you quietly accumulate, and when the bags are full, you tell the world about it. It's always been this way. Don't be surprised when big names suddenly start talking about Kaspa out of nowhere. It was never random. I think this tweet is very true. And I continue to say that I wonder what happens to us when the Kaspa community gets so much bigger than this. Will we get lost in the crowd or become legends for discovering a treasure so much earlier than the rest? I think this happens. I think this post just reminded me of what happened with Bitcoin. I believe there's people who discovered Bitcoin back in 2011, back in 2013. But I don't think all of the people made it. I don't think all of the people made money from Bitcoin, because most of the people did not see the big picture. They just speculated on the price of Bitcoin, but they did not see the actual mission and the vision of Bitcoin. The same thing is going to happen for Kaspa. I believe we've discovered, if you know about Kaspa right now, I think it is very early. I think most people are so focused on speculating about the price, and they miss the whole big picture of what Kaspa is going to do. Kaspa is going to revolutionize the global payment system, and that's a very big achievement. So we are starting with 10 blocks per second, 32 blocks per second, 100 blocks per second. Kaspa solved the trilemma. I think this is a very big thing. We underplay most of the achievements that has been achieved by Kaspa. So I think if you know about Kaspa right now, you are in a better chance. But are you willing to wait? Are you willing to be patient until everything plays out like just Bitcoin did back in 2013? Who would have thought that Bitcoin could go to 100k, even be speculated to go to 1 million, 10 million, 13 million? So I think being early matters, but sticking with the plan, I think is much very important than being early. So that he touched on about the Kaspa community getting so much bigger than this, and the early people getting lost in the crowd. I think it is a good thing at the same time, but I believe if you haven't subscribed to this channel, just subscribe, because we are going to be here. We are going to be talking about Kaspa. We want to spread the word about Kaspa to as many people as possible. And I've seen a lot of people now waking up and covering Kaspa, which is a very, very good thing. But we are also going to be here covering about Kaspa every single day. So don't forget to subscribe to this channel. And another post from Xavier saying that I don't consider Kas to be an altcoin. I think most of the people in the Kaspa community feel this way. When you talk about Bitcoin and other altcoins, I think including Kaspa as an altcoin is somehow not, it doesn't click. But I believe it's because of how strong, how unique Kaspa is. And in the coming years, I think Kaspa is going to be up there, like competing with Bitcoin. When it comes to the price action of Kaspa, I think Kaspa is preparing itself to break all-time highs, and this is very obvious. If you trade Kaspa, you already know what is going to happen. And for the people who are going to position themselves early, they're going to make a good amount of profit. So this is not financial advice. Always remember to do your own research. But let's take a look at what is forming in the price chart of Kaspa. I think there's a support fake out was made, and I won't get into so much detail about this kind of setup because it reveals everything that is happening in the price chart of Kaspa. So as we can see, previously people thought that 0.10 was, the bottom. People thought this was the support that Kaspa cannot break, but it broke 0.1. Then people expecting, okay, it's not going to break 0.07, it broke, and found support here at 0.05. So as you can see in this kind of setup, you have the first support, you have the second support, you have the third support. Now in the traditional support and resistance setup, which is mostly traded, most of the retail traders always trade support and resistance, and it's like they buy on support, they sell on resistance, but this actually doesn't work. And I think most of the people in the crypto community who are starting to trade make this very big mistake. You have to look at liquidity areas, which is here. I drew this line with this dotted blue line. This is where the big players, where the market makers are looking for entries, and this is what happened exactly with Kaspa. When most of the people are looking at support levels like 0.1 support, 0.07 support, the people or the big players or the people who drive these markets knew exactly that they were looking for 0.05, and this is what happened. When the price of Kaspa reached 0.05, that's when the real move happened. But here in between, people are chopped out. At a falling knife here, I think you lost a lot of money. So what happened is the price of Kaspa went to the liquidity levels. This is where the original move to 0.2 originated, like 0.05. You can see the Kaspa pushed to 0.15, came back down to 0.1, 0.009, then pushed back to 0.18, then came back to 0.10, pushed back to 0.2. So as you can see, the first support, the second support, the third support, people always believe that after the third support, after the price hits the third support, you're going to see a major bounce back. But that's exactly what does not happen. What you're going to see is always the price after it reaches support number 3, it's now going to go more downward, and they understand that most of the retail traders are going to go long at the third support. So what they're going to do, they're going to push the price of any type of currency, any type of asset, they're going to push it to liquidity levels. And this is what happened with Kaspa. They push the price to 0.05, and that's where liquidity was sleeping. Liquidity was located. And after they touch their liquidity, they fill their orders, that's when you can see a big rally. Most of the people are stopped out, and now Kaspa is preparing for a big rally. I think it might hit even 0.25, but it has to first break 0.2. So as you can see, this kind of setup reveals everything. The price of Kaspa after it touched liquidity is going to really explode, breaking the previous all-time highs. So let me know what you think about this kind of price action, and let me know what you think about the price predictions of Kaspa. This is not financial advice. Always remember to do your own research. And if you like the video, don't forget to hit the like. Don't forget to subscribe. It really helps a lot with this channel. Thank you for watching and see you in the next episode.